Welcome everyone. We are here to do the energy for the karmic energies of Capricorn and how their energy will be experiencing this astrology transit in July. For those of you that don't know, I am a psychic medium as well as I cover the astrology. Now, I have made a whole series of these, so feel free to tell me how this resonates. Now, if this person is not a karmic partner, it can be an ex as well, you also can utilize this for people around you that you know that potentially aren't coping with the energy of the astrology, but you'd need to disregard the relationship sector, very much linking in more so with twin flame soulmate energies. Now, Citrine is coming up as the crystal in reverse, and I do know with Citrine it's very useful to help with, you know, having courage and having being able to deal with adversity, toxicity, addictions, etc. It can be very beneficial for that. Now, it is in reverse. And the thing is, for people that don't have the spiritual tools and understandings of transits, ascension, you tend to find that we're unaware of our innate inner power because we haven't developed those tools. The tools we have developed more so can be linking in with a paradigm that we've been conditioned with, but also a belief system of codependency, you know, enabling victim consciousness, where we directly feel we don't have any power, but usually it's that we do, but we're too scared to make direct decisions because there could be an adverse outcome outside of what we feel we can directly control. Now, it's unique because at the beginning of the month, we are having Saturn returning into the zodiac sign of Capricorn. It had been in Aquarius, which was more linking in with their professional resources, land. It's the energy of where you develop your self-esteem and self-confidence. So whatever was growing in that energy, Saturn was retrograde in Aquarius for a few months, and now it's moving direct into the first house placement again. So a lot of the way, you know, these energies were really transforming and given opportunities through universe to deal with these trials and tribulations with the nodal axis. And I know because I'm a Cancer moon energy, so my compassion towards any energies that are those two zodiac signs, and for Sagittarius and Gemini for the next nodal axis. This person has, you know, is moving into hermit mode, okay? They're in the position of maybe retreating. That they maybe sat back to a degree and were hiding from certain things and not wanting to deal with past energies. So it's unique. In the past position, they were in hermit mode, which again is almost avoiding the past, which can be quite manipulative accidentally, so without knowing. It's okay. I don't really want to deal with the past. I'm not even going to live there, but I am. But I subconsciously don't know I'm doing this. And it can be due to, again, codependent energy and lacking in that security. Maybe retreating, meditating more about where they're going, but not necessarily that they are creating the same cycle. So this hermit energy, some may have got the download as to why certain things were happening. Others maybe have felt at a distance from people and there's some isolation. In the current position, they're moving into the position of the Chariot. And I was like, okay, this is really interesting. So in their every endeavors, and, you know, Cancer happens to be in the relationship sector for Capricorn. So it's unique that this has come up because we do have Mercury retrograde. And Venus going direct does mean that this person in the relationship sector with their contracts, their partnerships, their relationships, their love interests, whatever they're doing, they're wanting to plow full steam ahead. But during Mercury retrograde, it does make that energy very heavy and difficult at times. Because it does fall in their relationship sector, I feel they're being very direct in what they want. The future energy is really moving into a paradigm of being potentially ego-driven. Okay, this is it's not hunter-gatherer. How do I space this? They're not grasping. It's a bit like walking over a bridge, but you can see rickety panels on either side, but not assessing it, but powering in full steam ahead. We are going to be having Aries in Chiron retrograde. So it can feel like a Mars retrograde regardless, and it does link in with our wounds. Again, very hermit energy where we need to think about maybe our wounds. like the Leo King said, we may want to plow into them and get them done. That can be a resonance of having to, due to the transit of us having to move forward. So yes, there is a season for every situation. This person isn't assessing any of this. They're really wanting to plow forward. It's also like they're wanting their power back. So whatever they deem as power or control or theirs, it does feel they're really plowing in towards it and really wanting to get life back on track, which does make sense. It is very Saturn orientated, but it's not coming through in a sense of confidence or healthy assessment. It's coming through more in a perspective of, I want, but I haven't thought about this. So is it what they want or they think they want? You get my gist. In their money sector, they've got the Emperor, and I had to sit with that for a bit. There could be something coming up around a child. I pulled a clarifier, and it's sweetheart in reverse. For some, they may have children. They also may, from childhood, have had maybe this belief system that money was coming from a certain paradigm and location. Some may be getting payments external from their own, but I'm also feeling they're placing money inside of things through not utilizing this energy. So, you know, we did have the Cancer axis really was hitting our sacral chakra. The relationship sector, the things they like, which is very Venus orientated, can be overeating, it can be intoxication, things to that degree. So you tend to get the orange energy, which does make sense, as to fair-based frequency, vibrational frequency, and needing to have the pacifier. So the pacifier energy can be money utilized on things of a passionate nature, of a luxury nature, but not a necessity nature. And this can be finer things, but it feels like a lot of expenses due to a vibration, not necessarily a necessity. But some may be single parents and actually not be having the money coming directly from their source, but more from an external source, be it it's from a government or an ex-payment or a current partner. But they may want their power back where they have more of that themselves. And I'm also feeling something health-related that was dealt with that might have been coming up for them that's prevented them from doing certain things at this point. Now, in their career sector, there can be abrupt energy. Again, if they are out of work and they're wanting to get back to it, it's making them very frustrated. Some of them, I am actually feeling a secondary energy, which was coming through with the crowning energy, that there may have been a person they met during Venus retrograde. So even if they are in a karmic relationship and they are the karmic, I do feel they may have met a blast from the past and there has been some communication. This may have caused a little bit of confusion for them now, and a little bit of ego coming up as to, okay, I'll have more options than I thought. Although it's stemming from a lack of self-esteem or clarity, it's coming through very confused in a sense that they're not quite sure now what they want. Their true colours are coming out in their career sector and the things they're investing their time in. And this is due to a spiritual belief that they're very stuck. So it can be like that they're working, but they're feeling very agitated at that location, not giving themselves permission-based frequency to say, maybe this isn't for me. But whatever they're doing, it just feels like this circular effect in a sense that they're feeling very stuck. The eclipse cycle doesn't look very nice. Okay, in their tribe, and I have pulled what they're thinking in the karmic sense, okay. With the people around them, they're having to rebuild. It may be due to a fact that people have walked away. But I do feel the ones that they feel they hold most valuable or that they've had the most conflict with, being that Cancer has been in the 7th house placement. It's also this dire necessity to balance these connections out. But they may be coming to it quite, you know, from a unique perspective of feeling quite ill-equipped for it, not knowing how to go about that, and almost being their own worst enemy, but not intentional. They're trying old ways to deal with it, but they're still not getting an outcome with that scenario. And I do feel almost, you know, they're trying to work around a situation. If this has been, oh, okay. I see them sitting with a group of people, but it feels they're more connected in with a relationship or a person they had a relationship with. And they're telling their version of the story. But I feel a family member, again, this has been coming up a lot, a family member is stepping in and seeing this pattern. Ooh. I don't know why this has come up so strong. I feel they're calling them out on a situation. This can be a very, again, it's a lot of women energy are coming through in the read. Like a sister, a mother, I feel a mother on this occasion. Somebody is calling them out and saying, have you not learnt? Have you not learnt? You know, you're seeing yourself in a different light than what things are. Do you know how things go? It's almost like they're actually questioning them, but they're looking at them. It's just a look. They're actually quite baffled. Yeah, there you go, baffled. Like, well, what are you doing? Why are you doing this again for? I feel this person is really, really concerned. I feel very emotional just tuning into it. It feels strange. Whoever this family member is that is observing this person going through this, I feel they knew this had been a problem for a while. They thought it had stopped to a degree. It might have been behavioural, emotional, psychological. They're remembering back to younger years, when, you know, this person was very innocent. Ooh. I see a different energy when I look at that. There was something in their younger years they intuitively sensed. And it was something so simple that was happening. And it worried this female energy. And they kind of slipped it under the carpet. They maybe saw a pattern, whatever this is. But it's odd. It feels really sinister. It might have been a look in the eye also. It just feels something turned to this person's back. And they've almost been on guard, like they've been stepping back. They thought it went away, but it has not transformed. And this has really concerned them. I'm going to get into the energy of the eclipse and the new moon, and then into how they're dealing with this relationship sector. Okay. The eclipse for them might feel very harsh. Again, being that it's the first house placement, it can be quite an emotional energy. I'll do some channeling after this because there's a lot of information coming through. Yeah. So whatever they're needing to do, it can be very overwhelming. So this cruel energy can be almost karma coming back, where this can be plotting and working on something to deal with the scenario, but it's almost like the universe is trying to keep them really busy. The universe is trying to give them, you know, aha moments, epiphany moments. This quiet energy they've moved into and what they've been missing, I feel it's going to be brought to their viewpoint. Yeah, something to do with the child and something to do with finances and their health and their... I'm telling you, someone's calling them out. What a horrible situation to happen. Anywho, so if they are a parent or there's something coming up about their childhood and money, they've got emotions, melancholia. Child can be their inner child as well as a child. Some of them might be pregnant and be dealing with this, but I feel this is more, you know, already here sort of energy. I'm not feeling this to be a new thing. If they're trying to utilize that in a sense to cope and to generate, that's this person, I think, is kind of stepping in. Finances, self-worth energy, again, very inner power, consistency, things not coming together. by the time they reach the blue moon, which is a Cancer new moon, which again, Cancer falls in the romance house, the outcome energy for them, if they are not transforming these things, it's going to pop off. And it's not. But, you know, this is what I've always said spiritually. I've experienced many towers in my life, and many ways in which I've probably, to a degree, at some shape or form, been in this predicament where when we know better, we do better. When we don't, and it does feel like a very crippling childhood, whatever this was, it went under the radar. Something is being taken to wake this energy up. When I experienced tower moments, one thing I had always tried to come through in my energy as a person without knowing astrology previously, coming to it differently and trying to deal with it differently. Many people that have not developed that skill, it's due to fear-based frequency, and there's no shade in that. It's sometimes that wound that was first there is so suppressed we don't even know what it is, that if we can't heal it, we then create coping mechanisms. And this is what's going on here. Coping mechanisms to deal with adverse situations and going back to that vibration. This tower that's coming in sometimes is the catalyst to change. It's so that all these old situations can come up. And 9 times out of 10, the towers that I've experienced in life has usually been to the point that it is what creates the opportunities. So it's coming through as a negative, but in the long run, it is going to be a positive because it will actually help this person transform and have to end this cycle completely because it's not energetically in alignment with them in a sense of value. It's not where their energy is supposed to be moving to. And it's not, you know, this will be in the romance sector. So both with money and love and self-worth and energy. Dealing with aspects of loss and what that means. It's opening new opportunities up for this person. Now, how they're looking at the twin flame connection. And where I'm going to read whatever's coming through for them. Yeah, thinking about this 24/7, I feel many of them are in awareness of it. And they don't have to know. They can be in the connection still or not. I'll channel it more to see what's coming through. Yeah. Whatever this is, their emotions have been going higgledy-piggledy. This can be intoxication. It can be habits and things to that degree. But, you know, not realizing, meanwhile, other things were occurring around them. They're also thinking about this a lot. And whatever it is, I feel, how do I place it? It's almost like it's come into their realization of TF. Or external party, which is not them. This is causing a lot of conflict. They kind of are getting a clarity as to how long you, or potentially even their current partner / ex, has had this going on. This is making them very triggered. Now they're having to back up, and I feel they're looking back and they're like, they're not wanting to look back. Especially with the, you know, the past energy. They thought it was them. They thought they were safe. They were in hermit mode energy, so everything was protected in a controlled environment. This can be where they're coming through, almost dictating what is going to happen and how things will go. This is 2 cards that denote jealousy. And this is at the heart of it. There is a change now due to this. Something's come to the forefront. I feel almost negotiating energy. But I do feel that the person who was involved with them knows better. They're like, they've seen all they need to see. That's been a huge theme. I think with Saturn direct, it's almost like we've seen all we need to see. And I mean, for this Capricorn energy, potentially, this is their pivotal point where they've seen all they need to see. This can be the turning point in their life to get them where they need to be. Yeah, not seeing the value in it. I just feel shocked energy. They had hoped, but it's weird because I do feel this other person. I'm going to pull a card for this other energy that came back into their life, because I do feel it's a separate person. Is this... They're getting stuck. I don't feel they're focusing on this other person at the moment. They're just mad. They may be talking to an old energy. They might, I feel they've been talking to them during Saturn and Aquarius. But then, you know, while they've been indulging the ego, one would say, whatever's going down this month, it's actually... They're feeling a bit like, okay, well, it is what it is, but I feel they're mad. And it's weird because they actually don't want it and they're more interested in this other person. And they might be really communicating and saying, hey, you know, why did I bother with this? I knew this would happen. But again, I feel this other person's looking at them going, are you ready? Last one, please. Yeah, it's mental imprisonment. It's self-sabotage energy. But there's a two-party energy here, very separate to TF. I'll see you mid-month. Want a personal booking? Link below. Interesting. Love and light.